No script on this one. I don't know if you can tell from the state of my face. It's really, really hot today, so just bear with me. So I bought a ticket to go see the Bike Riders solely because I heard that the NOSFERATU trailer was going to be tagged with it. This was the first time that there was a public look at NOSFERATU. There was a trailer that premiered at a convention a couple months ago, but we've got nothing publicly. So I figured I would take a shot on this. However, Letterboxd came out after I bought my ticket and said that it was exclusive to US theaters. Now I'm in Canada, so I lost hope immediately. But listen here, young ones, never lose hope, because I took a chance. I said, you know what? I spent the 10 bucks, whatever it cost me, to go see the movie. I'm gonna go and I'm gonna see. I'm gonna find out. I may not be in the US, but I'm gonna will it into existence. I've had a prayer circle going around globally recently to try and summon this NOSFERATU trailer. Some of you have been involved with it and you know. So maybe it worked, because even though I'm not in the US, the NOSFERATU trailer did play in front of the Bike Riders, and then I left. I'm sorry, it looks like a cool movie and I do want to see it, but I just didn't have time to go to a full movie today. But I did have time to see the NOSFERATU trailer. So just to be very clear about this, I want to mention like spoiler stuff here. It didn't, from what I could tell, it didn't get into any serious spoiler territory in this trailer. Now, the pacing of this trailer, it's very like fast. It's high octane. It's a fast-paced trailer, which wasn't what I was expecting, and I'm going to talk about that in just a second. Maybe this is one of those things where, like, if I look more intently at it, then I'll realize, oh, maybe they shouldn't have shown that, or maybe I didn't want to see that here. I don't know. From my recollection of, you know, sitting in the theater, basically just doing this for however long the trailer was, I didn't notice anything that you know, raised any spoiler red alarms in my head. I am going to be talking about the things that I liked in the trailer here, so if you want to see the trailer for yourself blind, you shouldn't watch this video, because I'm about to talk about all of it, so there's your warning. Okay, so NOSFERATU is the most excited I have been for a movie in many, many years. Robert Eggers is my favorite director, him and Mike Flanagan. I've got the Eggers stack out here just celebrating. So yeah, I've been really, really excited, and I have been foaming at the mouth waiting to get a look at this movie. We got those stills and they look great, but then I just wanted to see the trailer. My God, I wanted to see it so bad, and now I've gotten to see it. So let's talk about it. First of all, I will say that you can tell that this was a trailer cut by a larger studio. This doesn't feel like what it probably would have if this was a trailer from A24, but A24 is not involved with this movie. This is Focus Features. So it's much more like fast-paced. The music, not to like talk shit, the music is more like generic horror movie trailer music. You can tell it's placeholder stuff. It's very much so like a trailer that feels like it was cut by a bigger studio. So it's not as like slow and atmospheric as I was hoping it would be, but I was also expecting this sort of thing since it's coming from Focus. What I will say is that I can tell that the movie itself is absolutely a slow burn, atmospheric, gothic horror movie. So praise be, it looks amazing. The visual style is something that I've been very intrigued by since I first heard about it, because when we were first getting some little bits of information about NOSFERATU, they described it as looking like a 19th century, like romantic era painting, which I love that kind of art style and is exactly the kind of look I would want if a NOSFERATU remake was coming. Here we go, and I can say very comfortably, having seen the trailer, that they absolutely accomplished that goal. Every single shot looks like a painting. It is absolutely beautiful, and this isn't just like color palette, because the color palette is, you know, it's very like washed out, and then it's like deep but sort of pale blues in the nighttime, but it's the framing of everything. It looks beautiful. There were two main shots that really stood out to me here. One of them was this like horse-drawn carriage that's coming around a mountain pass. It's the middle of the night. It's like snowing pretty heavily, and then they come around this corner, and off in the distance, you can barely make it out because it's very dark, but you can see this tall Gothic castle looming in the distance as he comes around, and then the full moon is hanging above it. Oh my God, it looks so good. The other shot that made me really, really excited, yet again, nighttime, very snowy. It's a bird's eye shot over this like Gothic village. And you see this huge, huge shadow of Count Orlok's hand just reaching over the houses in the village. And that shot, like the I mean, Eggers is a stylistic wizard. I have described him like this a couple times, and that is very much on display here. Like that shot, it's so heavily stylized, and that's exactly the kind of thing I wanted to see here. The other thing that struck me, and I'm very grateful for this, is that they aren't showing Count Orlok much here. We see some like vague outline silhouetted shots of him where, you know, he's, you know, silhouetted by like pale moonlight coming in from a window somewhere, or just it's very foggy, or it's almost impossible to see him. They are shooting Count Orlok with so much respect, and it gives him this like grandiosity that just makes me so excited to actually see him in the movie, because it feels so like looming every time we get a look at him here. Again, there's only like 2 or 3 shots of him in the trailer, and none of them are like clear looks, which, yeah, thank God. They're shooting him with the respect he deserves, and I love that. Narratively, there isn't really much given away here. This is more so like a stylistic trailer than it is a narrative one, although again, it's a little more like of a... Structurally, it's a little more of a generic trailer than like a slow burn ambient trailer would have been. But this is more focused on like, here's the look and feel, kind of the vibe, instead of here's the story, which is my preference here. I really don't need any marketing at all. I'm gonna go either way. My ticket is sold, but I was glad that they're not giving away like plot points in here. Again, maybe if I had a closer look at this trailer and I was a little more clear-headed, because I was so elated that I was getting to look at this, and I was so taken by the visuals of it that I wasn't really like trying to hyper analyze every shot. I was just kind of vibing with it. But maybe there's like little things here and there if I could look at closer that I would take issue with, but I didn't see anything. We did get a couple looks at Willem Dafoe, who he's looking great. I'm loving it. I love Willem Dafoe, and I'm so glad that him and Eggers have continued to work together. The big one that was really interesting to me is that I know there's been some concerns about Lily Rose Depp. Now, I'm not familiar with her. I don't know if I've seen anything that she's in before. But I've seen comments on the video that I made about NOSFERATU a while ago when those first stills came out. I think it was just the one still at the time, actually. But I saw comments of people saying that they were very concerned about Lily Rose Depp being in the lead role. And I'm aware that she was in The Idol, which I guess was not received very well. I will say right now, if this is any comfort to you, based on what I saw in the trailer, she's pretty damn good. Without a doubt, she can scream. She can definitely scream. There was nothing here that like made me concerned about her fitting into the time period of this movie, which I think is a big concern for a lot of people. But again, guys, this is Eggers we're talking about here. He can put anyone in any period. He's gonna make it work. He's very meticulous about that kind of thing. But yeah, she seems really great in this lead role. There's a lot of like, he's coming, and a lot of just close-up shots of her screaming. So there's definitely some like, you know, cerebral manipulation going on with her character, where it seems like she's kind of separate from anyone else, maybe living within Count Orlok's world, which is just mwah, chef's kiss. Didn't see much Nicholas Hoult. There's like a shot of him riding in on a horse over this big like foggy field, which was cool. We see him wandering around like a city or a township a little bit, but I don't think he has any lines in the trailer. I think the only people that did were Lily Rose Depp and Willem Dafoe, where I'm pretty sure Willem Dafoe just looks at the camera and goes, NOSFERATU, which was awesome. How can you complain? How can you not like that? It's very light on dialogue. It's very light on narrative information, but what it's not light in is revealing that Eggers' stylistic wizardry is alive and well and just ramping up, which makes me so excited. Now, as I said, I'm like 99% sure this is a different trailer than the one that was shown at the convention, because from what I heard about that one, it was very bloody. I don't recall any blood in this trailer, so as far as I can tell, this is something different. Now, there are some shots that I remember hearing about that are here, like the hand reaching over the village was in that trailer, and it's in this one. So there's some similarities, but they're not exactly the same, which I was kind of expecting. That's usually the case. I'm trying to think if there's anything else that I want to talk about with it. I like, it was one of those things where I don't feel like I retained much of it, because from the second, because again, like I wasn't sure if I was actually going to see this trailer. I didn't know if it was going to play or not. So I was sitting there like watching these trailers play through, and I'm kind of going like, it's probably not going to play. They explicitly said US, so it's on me. And then I saw like a font style for I don't remember which production studio it was, but I was like, wait a second. It was like an old Gothic font, kind of faded yellow. And yeah, and then I saw Lily Rose Depp and I was like, oh my God, I'm actually watching the NOSFERATU trailer right now. And then I just spent the whole thing just like ogling at how beautiful this looks. It looks so good. It looks creepy, man. It looks very creepy. They are clearly leaning into horror. They're trying to make this something scary, which is music to my ears. I'm so glad to hear that. And it was something that Eggers was very much emphasizing when he was doing interviews for this. This is basically everything I wanted to see. The trailer is not cut in the way I would have liked. Again, I would have liked something more slow paced and kind of subtle. This doesn't look like Eggers is trying to like win over a new audience or anything like that. This is very, very much so a Robert Eggers movie. So if you're a fan of his work, it looks like you're gonna enjoy it. If you're not a fan of his work, I don't know if this is gonna win you over or not. We're gonna have to wait and see. It has been really cool to watch his like scale increase as his budgets have gone up, you know, where the Witch and the Lighthouse are like very much confined to one location, which is, it's not just a budgetary thing, it's a narrative decision. That's how those stories are told. Northman was like much bigger scope. I don't know the exact budget for NOSFERATU off the top of my head. I don't think it was as much as the Northman. I could be wrong about that, but I mean, the sets, like just the scope of what we're looking at here, it's so much bigger than his other productions. You know, we're seeing full towns now and, you know, big rolling countrysides and, you know, again, castles off in the distance. This is a high production value movie through the lens of Robert Eggers, which, I mean, come on now. How can you not love that? So I think that's probably all I have to say about this. I may wind up doing another video about it whenever the trailer drops online, which I'm assuming it will sometime next week. I would be surprised if they don't release this soon, although this is inevitably gonna leak. There's gonna be people filming it, there's gonna be bootleg versions of this floating around the internet, and then maybe, like what happened with Halloween Ends, that will prompt the studio to then just release the trailer, because once a leak is out there, you can't really do anything to stop it. So if the trailer could drop online at any point, and maybe when it does, I will do another video where I can actually go through and look at things a little more clearly and analyze the trailer a bit more. This is not a movie that I want to overanalyze in the lead up though. I want to be very careful, because this is one of those things where it's like, I obviously want to make content about it, but this is a movie where I care way more about that first watch than I do making a video about it. So I want to make sure that's as pure as it can be. So I'm obviously going to cover things about it, but I am going to be a little reserved with what I cover. Hoping to see a poster soon. That would be fantastic. We haven't gotten an official poster, but everything I saw in this trailer has me excited. There was nothing that made me less excited about the movie. I mean, I couldn't be more excited. I'm still just very much so at that same level, getting to see this visual style that's been so emphasized and confirm with my own eyes that yes, it is as beautiful as I pictured it in my head. And yes, this is very much so a Robert Eggers movie that doesn't feel like it's being held back by like studio pressure. Again, we're gonna have to wait and see. This is a short trailer, and I'm talking about it for a while, but it's Robert Eggers, man, and it's NOSFERATU. This is, I have not been this excited in years. Okay, I should stop rambling now because I'm gonna go on forever. I do want to say though, I made a community post being like, they Letterboxd said it was only in the US. I think I was like, I'm seething. And then I had a couple people reach out after and were like, hey man, I live in the US. I'm gonna go, I'll film it for you and send it to you. So I really appreciate all of you that saw that I was upset about the, you know, prospect of not seeing this trailer and wanted to help. But yeah, I'm all good. So thank you to everyone who offered, but I also don't condone filming stuff in the movie theater, to be very clear, but I do very much appreciate it. All right, and only 6 more months. Wait, Shadow of the Erdtree is out in like an hour.